at its height and the Six Nations on the horizon. It's all in the melting pot as we head into the busiest 3 or 4 months of the season, and where the decisions will be made about winners and losers over the next couple of months in an ever enjoyable rugby season. It is the Stadio Monego and it is Treviso against Glasgow, two sides with real ambitions in this Pro 14 for the months ahead, both very much in the playoff picture, but teams have coming with various different fortune over the last couple of weeks. Glasgow, of course, losing both of their derby games against Edinburgh over the Christmas period. Treviso, by comparison, coming off a victory against Zebre, both home and away, and they've added a third victory to that as well. So they come into this full of confidence and will be looking to put this Glasgow side to the sword. There is the Glasgow team, the Warriors team of Baddy Stewart and Helen Kuanuka up front, and then Swinson and Cummings in the second row, and a back row of Wilson, Fusrow and Ash. The halfbacks of Horn and Hastings, Johnson and McDowell. Very interesting centre partnership for the Glasgow Warriors today, and very capable Rory Jackson, Robbie Nairn and Matawalu in the back three will make them a very, very potent and capable attacking force if they can get the ball wide. And Benetton Rugby, well, they make their way out, shorn, of course, of a number of injured players. Zani, Barbieri, Demarchi, just to name a few, but this is the 15 that start for them. Negri, Stain and Pettinelli in the back row, particularly capable back row. Duvenage and, of course, the Italian out half, Tommaso Allen, make up the half-backs. Ioane, Hayward and Esposito, their back three. Alongside me, Hugo Southwell, 59 times capped for Scotland as Conor O'Shea, the Italian coach, looks on. Hugo, Joy Neville, the woman in the middle today. For Glasgow, for the Warriors, it's time to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, they must get back to winning ways. Really disappointing last few weeks against Edinburgh. Edinburgh came at them with this game plan, aggressive defence, aggressive at the breakdown, and the discipline and the functioning of this Glasgow team wasn't where it usually is. You're expecting something to happen. I'd expect them to bounce back today against this Treviso side.
Well, Adam Hastings of the Hastings Rugby dynasty gets
advantage.
Glasgow on their way, and Horn will immediately try and get Glasgow to play the rugby they know we're capable of playing. Rory Jackson wearing the number 15 shirt today, of course, regularly plays an outside half for the Warriors. And they take the ball into contact to Treviso, are forced into defensive duties in this opening minute. It's there for George Horn, and the carry will be by Jamie Batty, hit by
Roll 7
Faiva, Treviso hooker. Hastings in midfield, plenty of options. Ball out to Stafford McDowell alongside Sam Johnson in the midfield for the Warriors. Ball just doesn't go to hand, and Treviso look to turn defence into attack. Not forward, no, says Joy Neville. Will play on, and now a shrill blast of the whistle, and it's Treviso who get the opening penalty.
Yeah, and I like the intensity initially from Glasgow, really just trying to go through the phases, speed the ball up, but that's what they can't afford away from home. You've got to keep hold of the ball, go through, get that continuity going. If you make mistakes against this Benetton side, they're going to make you pay. Not this time, but they did get the penalty for holding on from Glasgow.
It was Bram Stain wearing the number 8 shirt for Benetton Rugby. South African born, 25 times capped for Italy.
Here's your mark.
And that's the face of Tommaso Allen. Faiva comes up to throw the ball in. That's Monte Ioane playing on the wing for Treviso today. Glasgow won the last 27 matches against all Italian opposition. Last lost was to Treviso back in 2011. However,
numbers in earlier to give them a chance. Okay, so get it in earlier, both sides.
Not where it might be. Joy Neville very clear what she wants to see come line-out time, and we're back with Faiva, and it's down for Duvenage and Allen, and Treviso get their first opportunity to carry ball. It's taken on by Morisi, and then Benvenuti, Tommaso Benvenuti, 55 times capped for Italy, plenty of international talent for both sides today, with lots of injuries as well. And lots of changes. Treviso 11 changes from the side that beat Zebre. Glasgow 10 from the side that lost to Edinburgh, taken on by Faiva. And there for Duvenage. Scrum half in, ball cleared out quickly. Tommaso Allen and then Benvenuti.
Off your feet.
Stain sets it up.
First time yes, second time no.
Allen, fullback. Hayward, good tackling out wide from Glasgow. Treviso through the phases, not much ground gained. Duvenage back to where they came from. That's the second row and captain Dean Budd. Duvenage once more. Real purpose in the carriage of Treviso. Just as I say that, knocked forward. And the advantage being played to the Warriors, and Horn looked to get it away quickly, but it was slowed down back with Hastings, and he'll kick long.
Advantage is over.
Well watched and gathered by Jaden Hayward. And then away goes Esposito, and he knocks it forward in the tackle. Plenty of handling errors from both sides in this opening 4 minutes, but decent rugby to watch as well. Tommaso Allen.
Green.
Long kick down into Glasgow territory over the head of Rory Jackson, but plenty of time to readjust.
Hold on.
I'm going to play a bit of kick tennis. That one measured perfectly, and it's advantage Treviso, albeit with the throw into the line out to the Warriors.
Yeah, you talk about a bit of kick tennis and who's going to win that battle. They won it there with Tommaso Allen. Good kick over the head of the winger, over Robbie Nairn's head. Inexperienced now, he's only 21, but great to be getting an opportunity. A couple of years in the Scotland under-20s in the academy. What an opportunity. Him and Stafford McDowell at 13 and 14. It's going to be a great day for them. But for me, Glasgow's defence there, they held up pretty well. The structure of their defence, they went through a great set and forced Treviso back, forcing Treviso to kick. What's interesting as well from Glasgow, they're keeping the ball in field. They're not trying to go to Treviso's set play. They know they're a very structured side. They're keeping the ball in field and ask them to come back in a minute, and they'll rely on the defence from there.
Water off, please.
Everybody back in full working order, and we will resume with the throw into the line out for Grant Stewart. And the Glasgow Warriors down for Horn, back for Hastings, and a little shimmy, and then the relieving kick. Hayward.
Green, keep going.
It's a big kick, but watched all the way by Hastings, and decides to keep the ball in hand, brings it up to the line and gets Glasgow on their way. And Treviso a little bit fractured in their kick chase, and Warriors exploit that gap. Tackle is made by Benvenuti, but it's there for Horn. Down the narrow of the size, Jackson to Matawalu. Just foot in touch, I think. Yeah, touch judge's flag over on the far side, spotted by Joy Neville, but good ball in hand work from the Warriors, and they bring the ball from all the way back along their goal line.
Foot in touch.
There you see the foot in touch.
Yeah, frustrating with Matawalu there. Maybe Rory Jackson could have held on to the ball and just kept it in field, because really good build-up play from there. Adam Hastings decided this time not to kick. One thing last week and over the last 2 weeks, his decision-making hasn't been quite at the level that we've seen over the rest of the season, but he started this game really well. Good long kicks and a good decision there to counter-attack rather than put the ball in the air.
Taken by Dean Budd. Kick just picks out Rory Jackson. Middle of the field, options both ways, and goes for Nairn. Horn digs it out. Carried by Swinson, and set up quickly for Horn once more, and Hastings can see a little gap in behind the back three of Treviso. I think that's hit the line, it has. So out on the full, and we'll come back millimetres away from being excellent. And back we'll go.
Yeah, and we saw the Tommaso Allen kick just a minute ago, which landed 6 inches inside the line. That one's slightly unfortunate. Brilliant option. You could see he took the ball to the left, saw the space open up on the right, and changed direction and just overcooked it. I'll tell you what's interesting at this time of the season, especially before a Champions Cup week, with Benetton not in the Champions Cup, they've obviously been allowed last week against Zebre at home to rest a few guys, bringing back a full-strength side, whereas for Glasgow, they've had to rest people before next week, so huge game for Glasgow today.
That's Monty Ioane setting it up for Treviso. Benetton Rugby. Faiva. And Duvenage. Scrum half down the shoulder of the two sides. Cross to make the tackle. Came Scott Cummings.
Stay. No. Second
Ball
line.
slowed up. But there for Benetton Rugby. Duvenage, Allen, little chip over the top, but well watched. And dealt with by McDowell. And Rory Jackson thought about the kick, saw a second row in front of him in the shape of Dean Budd, but Budd did well to make the tackle, and it's a little bit scrappy from Glasgow in their attempt to find some open space. Ball didn't go to hand. Treviso make the tackles, and Warriors find themselves back inside their 22. Could get pinged, they do get pinged, holding on the ground, penalty Treviso, and that one was a pretty easy call for Joy Neville.
Yeah, it certainly was, and their own worst enemies there, just going backwards, compounded an error with another one, and in the end holding on. They're forcing it. That's what happened in the last 2 weeks again. They've got to learn very quickly that in these situations, away from home, against a fired up side like Benetton, who are rushing up in defence, just clear lines, play the percentages in these areas.
And Treviso, interestingly, declined the opportunity to kick a goal and force Glasgow back to what, 6-7 metres short of their own line. Confidence from Tommaso Allen and this Benetton Treviso side. Hami Faiva goes short. And Treviso will go to them all, and the body position's not great, but they have the first surge.
He's bound.
Referee happy that Glasgow player is bound. I think it's Ryan Wilson. And the decision is scrum to the Glasgow Warriors.
Yeah, Green took it to ground.
Straight away, when Italian sides get themselves in those positions, 5-7 metres from the line, as an opposing side, you're always slightly concerned. Very good, as I mentioned already, around the set piece, driving line out, scrummage, normally very good in Italian rugby. At that occasion, Glasgow managed to turn them over, and they'll be delighted. The big thing for Glasgow now is just to get their game back going, get these error count down, because at the moment, that's the only thing that's letting this Benetton side into the game.
Okay. Binds up.
The intimidating frame of the Tongan Halanuka on this near side. 8 times cap for his country. Neville not happy. That scrum is going to be set. Joy Neville, former Irish international, number 8 in the Grand Slam with Ireland.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Eventually George Horn is happy to feed, and it's at the feet of Vadamash. And he's happy to break away, but met on the gain line by Duvenage. And Horn will have to go in and rescue this quickly. Hastings and Warriors happy to run from there, but that's risky, very risky. It really wasn't on, and it's taken on by Morisi, and now with Negri. And Treviso with the advantage, little kick over the top, but that one's not going to work out, and the Warriors can consider themselves very, very lucky indeed.
Having just talked about Adam Hastings' decision-making, that was the complete opposite to what I discussed before. You cannot be, I mean, the wingers read it. It's a floaty pass, 30 metres, trying to go over the top. Yes, there's space on the outside if it comes off, but it's a bit of a miracle pass. You see here from this angle, I mean, they've just come up and read it, and that's got all sort of Rory Jackson's thinking, what on earth is going on here? And suddenly a scrum put in 5 metres out. Again, the percentages need to be played.
Okay,
well, having extricated themselves from the problem of the driving maul, the last line out and the penalty they gave away, this is self-inflicted again from the Warriors, who've got to face this scrum. And Treviso with options. You can see that narrow side is wide enough if they want to use it.
Crouch. Bind.
They'll certainly be looking down that side.
Set.
Devolt Duvenage, former emerging Springbok, playing scrum half, feeds a rock-solid Treviso scrum. Stain feeds his scrum half, and then it's taken on by Morisi. Duvenage again. This is Bud. 5 metres short. Tackles come in from the Warriors. Ball eventually comes out to Stain. Stain gets through the first tackle, almost able to reach for the line, but just held up.
Stay in the line.
Treviso slow it down, try to get their set play right. Duvenage once again is there, but it'll be left for the big men. Bud screams out what he wants and then goes himself and gets there. Dean Budd with the opening try at the Stadio Monigo. And the Treviso crowd are on their feet. And well, you have to say, the Warriors, if there was an own goal, that was it.
That was certainly it. And as soon as Adam Hastings threw that pass and the error was made, you knew that this Treviso side, Benetton side, would come as hard as they could over the next few phases. Good scrum, good line initially from Luca Morisi off the scrum, and then it was all about the forwards, all about the pick and goes. Those big lumps that they've got, and Dean Budd, one of them, just managed to get over the line there. But look at them, there's only one way this is going, around the fringes, and eventually they get over.
Joy Neville perfectly positioned, and it's 5 points, which is likely to be turned to 7 by this attempt from Tommaso Allen. Up go the flags, and after what, 14 minutes, it's Benetton Rugby Treviso who lead it by 7 points to 0.
Yeah, and when you come away from home, what you want to be is solid in defence. Your discipline needs to be right, and you need to play territory. At the moment, yes, the discipline's okay, the defence has been solid, but they've been letting themselves down with that territory battle. They're just not playing enough rugby in the Benetton half at the moment.
And having been on the receiving end of so many beatings from Glasgow over the years, this is the 16th match between these sides. Glasgow having won 13 of the previous 15. That opening try at home on the back of 3 wins, with Glasgow with their heads slightly down by comparison. Well, psychologically, huge lift for Benetton Rugby.
Yeah, Benetton are certainly the side playing with confidence. They've, as you said earlier, won their last 3 games, and even when they've lost games, they've lost by the smallest of margins. 5 points in Ulster, 5 points in Edinburgh, 6 points at the Cheetahs. So they're a quality side this year. They're really competing at the top end, having finished 5th last year. They're 3rd at the moment and chasing that 2nd spot.
Kieran Crowley has done a standout job, the coach with Benetton Treviso. Horn and the Warriors go about righting that wrong.
Release. Ball's available.
There for the scrum half. Taken on by Grant Stewart, but he's held up and driven back. Horn once more. Hastings, lots of movement. Murray Jackson in the back line, but again, watched all the way. That's really positive defending from Benetton Treviso. Horn tries to jink his way, but runs into a big tackle from Faiva, the hooker. And Nuka sets it up, carry after carry. And Treviso are making those tackles, caught again behind the gain line, the Warriors.
Advantage.
Morisi.
Advantage, not rolling.
Not rolling away. Advantage to the Warriors, says Joy Neville. And the penalty comes.
Yeah, Glasgow will be delighted with that, because they really were going nowhere. Really aggressive defence by Benetton. But for me, they just got to mix their game up a bit. I think they're very predictable. No, as we said, not getting over the gain line, no real dynamism. Adam Hastings needs to almost put in, whether it's an attacking kick or a long kick, just mix the game up at the moment. But as I say, fortunate to get the penalty. Oh, he's got again.
They're going again. Well, one thing you'll never accuse the Warriors of is not being adventurous, and away goes Stafford McDowell. Who's 20 years of age, broke the first line and gives the Warriors big open space inside. There's a hole there for Grant Stewart, and he's gone straight through it. Horn once more, pass doesn't go to hand. Hastings has to readjust, does well, stays on his feet. Where is he off to? Support needs to arrive. It does. And Warriors playing in ones and twos. And they had the Treviso defence going backwards, and it's slowed down and eventually taken on by Ash. Horn. It's Rory Jackson. Horn once more. Time for Treviso to do the tackling.
Stay three. Use it.
Slowed right down. Door shut tight.
No, green.
Warriors using the big men, including Tim Swinson, just to try and suck in this Treviso defence and maybe find a weak shoulder or possibly go wide, having sucked in a couple of defenders. But right now, it's Halanuka. And then Swinson, and he's read by Stain and driven back.
Hands, green.
Bud told to get his hands off it, and he does, just in time. And again, strong tackling from Treviso around the fringes.
Advantage, no arms by number 1. Advantage.
Quaglio is penalised for a no arms tackle, so advantage being played to the Warriors. And that's up around the head of Adam Ash. Warriors know they have a free play. Hastings back inside, and it's knocked forward by Matawalu, and will come back for the penalty.
Yeah, and as much as
number 1,
they'll have a pretty sure 3 points, I'm sure they'll be disappointed they didn't get more. We criticised, well, I criticised Adam Hastings for the pass deep in his third, but he took the quick tab, he spotted all the forwards circling around, not really, or thinking that Adam Hastings was going to go for touch. Quick tap penalty, and suddenly he ignited an attack. It should bring 3 points unless they opt for the scrum.
Please. Water off, please. Option. Scrum called.
And they've called for the scrum. He won't mind.
I think in this position, middle of the field, options either side with the exciting threats. We've just seen a half break from Stafford McDowell. He's got so much potential as a centre, big, 6'4", getting the ball in his hands. You know, with the options, Matawalu on the left as well. Sam Johnson back in the team. There's real threats everywhere. So I'm not surprised with this option.
Change at hooker for Treviso. Faiva's gone. Baravale comes in.
Need to see better buy-ins on this side. Need to see better buy-ins on this side.
Baravale. One-time cap for Italy back in 2011 against Uruguay, into the middle of that front row for Benetton Rugby. Scrum's been a bit of a problem since the start.
Eights, I need you in earlier, please. Eights, I need you in earlier.
It's an area as well for Glasgow against Edinburgh. They really struggled up front. Ollie Keble getting sin bin last week, which pretty much turned the game. Edinburgh ended up scoring off that, so key that they get it right today against a very formidable Benetton pack.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Big moment in this game at the end of the first quarter, 20 minutes on the clock.
Stay up.
Warriors with a real opportunity. Horn, now Hastings. All sorts of movement again in the back line, and almost away was McDowell. There for Horn again, has Ash. Horn keeps dancing, and eventually Treviso get the numbers there to make the tackle. Still there for the Warriors. Pick and go is from Cummings. Matawalu will play scrum half, or will he? No. He's told to leave it. And taken on by Wilson, is he going to get there? Is Wilson just short of the line or held up is the decision of the referee, and we will go back 5 meters for a scrum, and it will be Warriors put in.
I couldn't quite see who that was, but what a last start, a ditch, brilliant tackle. I think either by Mauricio or Benvenuti in the centres. Stafford McDowell, you thought was through. As I said to you, big frame. As I think Ryan Wilson gets held up there. Joy Neville again in a brilliant, you have to say, first 20 minutes she's had a great start to the game. Really good refereeing so far from her. She's got herself in brilliant positions. But Stafford McDowell on that short line, it was a set play. Rory Jackson came in as behind the scrum there and just fed McDowell on that short ball. But brilliant defence from Benetton.
I'm happy here. Keep it straight, yeah. Well done. Thank you. Okay,
try scorer and captain Dean Budd just receiving a little bit of attention. They'll be happy with what they've seen in the opening 21 minutes or so.
Same again.
This is an area really where Glasgow have been putting Benetton under pressure for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They turned down 3 points, they have to come away with something, most notably a score now. Yeah, they've already turned down 3 easy points. Something has to come from this.
Set.
So then George Horn. And there for Ash. As the Warriors try to get a squeeze on, it doesn't come, and the ball is delivered to Rory Jackson. And oh, it's not Jackson, in fact, it's Johnson, and he's got there.
On the line.
Well, in the end, it was simplicity itself. Straight off the back of the scrum, and in comes Sam Johnson, back from a knee injury, and he gets Glasgow on the board.
Yeah, similar to that try last week for Bundyaki for Connacht against 9-12. You can see there the really good, solid scrum from Glasgow. And Sam Johnson, this is what they've missed, just steps off the left and then muscles his way over the line. A really, really good finish, because he had 3 or 4 defenders around him. He's a strong, low centre of gravity player. And don't forget, he was called up to the Scotland setup just before he got injured, and then obviously that was ended, but he's looking to cement his place not just in the Glasgow side with Alex Dunbar now out, but also to his prospects no harm for Scotland.
And the flags go up for the conversion, and we're all square. It's 7 points apiece.
Again, Adam Hastings ignited that attack from that quick tap penalty, so he'll be delighted to make amends for that pass that he threw. And here it is again. Sam Johnson just steps off the left, managed to keep his feet really well. You thought from the initial half tackle he would go down, but stayed up and bundled his way over the line.
Tommaso Allen gets us underway again. It'll be interesting to see which way the pendulum swings now. Opening 10-15 minutes all played in the Glasgow half. They've bounced back, but here comes Treviso again. That's wonderful offloading. It's with Stain. One more pass would have seen them breach the Warriors' defence, but they did get across, and now they counter-ruck, and it looks like, well, it looked like they had it. With Treviso through Ioane, somehow come away with it. Helter-skelter stuff. Dumanage. Allen. Little kick in behind. Matawalu read it well. Benvenuti will want that one back. Wrong option, and then it's the Warriors who knock it forward through McDowell, and Treviso attack again. Defence splintered. Was that forward? Referee happy to let it continue for the moment. You can't take your eyes off it at the moment. Duvenage, Allen. That one was risky, could have been picked off. Benvenuti, both sets of players happy to try the full box of tricks. Matawalu just gets back to make the tackle on Tommaso Benvenuti, but Treviso keep coming. This time it's Herbst, South African second row. Duvenage, Negri, 5 meters away, desperate defending from the Glasgow Warriors. Down the narrower of the two sides, on Treviso go, just held up. Morisi is there, also the scrum half. Slow ball. Negri gets Cummings as he got the ball. Quick goes to ground. Advantage being played. Duvenage. Scrum half will look to dig it out. It won't come, and we will go back for the penalty.
Off your feet.
Off the feet against the Glasgow Warriors. You better not take your eyes off this, because immediately they may go, but Hayward thinks better of it.
No, I can see them going to the corner here, you know, with the set piece and the frustration of the last driving line out from 5 metres out. But again, Glasgow will be bitterly disappointed. Coaches talk about exit plays. When you've just scored a try, the most important time is straight afterwards, making sure you get the ball either out of play to reset your defence. What's happened is Stafford McDowell kicked the ball, gave Brandon Hayward an easy opportunity to come back at them. And again, another mistake as well by Stafford McDowell on the floor when they ran the ball out of attack, knocked it on. Again, they gave an opportunity for Benetton to come back at them. So, you know, there's these little errors in this Glasgow game that's just allowing Benetton to get some rhythm.
It's making for some entertaining rugby to watch, though. Is Thomas Badavale readies himself, his opposite number, Grant Stewart.
Captain, what's beginning to creep in the game is people falling on top in the poach, and you see a better picture, okay? The penalties against 14 for flopping over. If I see a better picture, I'll reward you.
Yeah, you can see that, and you can hear Joy Neville talking about the players flopping over on the floor.
I'll watch out, but do speak to them about that.
Any real attempt to stay on their feet, and this was Benvenuti. The players were expecting the pass. He threw about 3 or 4 dummies, and in the end, he suddenly saw the hole open up for him, and the line was at his mercy, but Matoalu did well to get back. As we see Stafford McDowell, I think the reason that he dropped the ball actually in contact was it looked like he twisted his knee and he sort of winced a bit, and hence the ball came out of his grasp. So was it Robbie Nairn there, I think?
It's Robbie Nairn, 21-year-old, back on his feet. Grant Stewart back on his, and I think we're okay to continue.
Step up. He's in.
Badavale. Taken by Negri. Shrill blast of the whistle. It'll be interesting to see what Joy Neville has to say about this.
Straight through.
Penalty no more.
Be very careful. Straight through.
Especially after what she's just discussed with Glasgow and with the captain about flopping over. There, straight away, for me, that's really...
Be very careful, wait till they come down.
He's lucky there, I feel.
Scott Cummings, yeah, very much so.
It's one of those situations where she could have gone straight to a yellow card.
Straight to yellow, absolutely. Badavale again. This time, it's Pettinelli. The result is the same. Treviso go to the maul. Advantage being played. It's Bud once more. Away he goes. He's a big man. Hard to stop from there, and they can't stop him. Try number 2 for Benetton Rugby Treviso. Try number 2 for captain Dean Budd.
I tell you what, I think Glasgow are pretty lucky, because I think if they hadn't scored, Joy Neville would have gone back, and unless she is now, would have gone back and probably given a yellow card. Sometimes you see when sides score a try, it gets ignored what happened before in terms of yellow cards. But Dean Budd, what an outstanding effort there to get over the line. Still had a lot to do.
Had a lot to do, but came off the back of that maul with momentum, and it was enough to get him there as his second row partner Herbst came across to complete the job, but it was Bud that got the ball down.
Yeah, and you can see Glasgow are obviously worried about this driving line out. You can see them trying, almost preempting in the air, trying to get them just as they hit the floor to get that drive going. Just then, Benetton decided to shift the drive slightly to the right from that main pod, and it gave them an extra bit of push on the right-hand side, and Dean Budd managed to break off just at the right time.
It's more of a tester for Tommaso Allen. Former Scotland under-20, of course, could have played for Scotland, Italy, South Africa, England. Due to his parentage and moving around as a young man from place to place, and that one is left and wide. He settled in the end to play for the Italians. And that kick left, but it means Benetton Rugby Treviso lead it by 12 points to 7.
You feel now Glasgow with 15 minutes or 13 minutes left in this first half have to play this territory game. They've played most of the half in their own 22 almost, and it's been a complete. They've just lacked any sort of continuity themselves. They've scored a good try, but that was the one occasion they've entered the 22 of this Benetton side.
Jamie Batty getting a change of shirt. There's the arm wrestle. We're underway again. And Treviso are playing with confidence. You can see it in everything they're doing. Stain sets them up again. This is a real test now for the Glasgow Warriors, of course, who lead Conference A. Benetton third in Conference B. There's this one going to fall into the arms of Horn. McDowell there for the scrum half once again, and the Warriors set it up on the Treviso 10-metre line. Swinson. Treviso try to hold him up. The ball, though, almost presented. Horn sees a little gap. Down for McDowell. But Treviso through. Ioane makes the tackle. There's aggressiveness in everything that Treviso are doing defensively. There's just a little bit more intensity about the men in green than the men in black right now. Try scorer Sam Johnson up to the halfway line. Ash gets a yard or two more than he may have. Horn once again taken on by Grant Stewart. Treviso just not giving Glasgow any sort of time at all. Stewart, though, good offload. On his shoulder is Wilson. Wilson looking to return to Horn, but just couldn't do it. Treviso try to get across on the ball, but can't, and the penalty in the end
playing the ball on the ground
goes the Italian club's way for playing the ball on the ground, and they are not hanging about as Glasgow were up in numbers. Big holes back there, and they're trying to exploit, and Nairn gets caught in possession, and then the offload, and Hastings is caught, and Treviso throw the bodies in, but do so illegally.
Touched by Green and you were offside.
Well, it's a million-mile-an-hour stuff.
It's one of those games, there's so many errors from both sides. It's just end-to-end stuff. Good option there from Jaden Haywood. He saw that there was only Robbie Nairn back, and they put pressure on him initially, but then another error from Treviso on the floor, giving the ball back to Glasgow. Glasgow's build-up play much better. I felt that they went through the middle. They didn't try and throw three wide passes when it wasn't on. They've got to earn the right to get in that outside channel, and that means shortening the defensive line of this Benetton side, which is not that easy with how aggressively they're coming up. But that was much better. Just unfortunate that George Horn just went to death at the back of the ruck and gave away a penalty.
So Faiva is back.
That was against you for playing the ball on the ground, okay?
Baravale makes way.
Okay, 10.
We're just taking a breather. It's that sort of game.
Difficult angle off the side of the boot, but still into Treviso territory. Oh, the Glasgow Warriors.
This really is 7 minutes to go, 7.5 minutes to go to half-time. Absolutely crucial time. Glasgow been under the pump for long periods, but they've got something about them. They've got a bit of flair about them that we've seen in patches. If they can get it right, they'll put on a performance in the second half.
Here's Hastings in midfield, picks out McDowell, and he's held up by Negri. Slow ball for Horn. Up comes Faiva to make the tackle quickly, but the offload goes to Adam Ash. Horn once more. All there for the scrum half. Hastings, and then Fussero. Horn once more, but still that 10-metre line. And I swear Glasgow are trying to get beyond, and they have done, and done really well. Here's Horn, tries to get the pass away to Matawalu. He was touched in flight, I think, and Treviso somehow get back and fly hack it clear, and Glasgow find themselves back inside their own half through Hastings. Here's Nairn. Up quickly come the Treviso defenders, and we're back to the 10-metre line again. Hastings, this time the little kick in behind, but that one isn't executed particularly well. And Esposito with the long clearing tackle, which means the Warriors will have to start from all the way back there. Horn. Cummings. Horn once more. Adam Hastings. He's really mixing it up, is Hastings. That occasion, well, it works out. It's been the full bag of tricks. Some wonderful, some not so great from Hastings in this first half. But it's terrific to watch.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what Benetton are trying to do. They're trying to do what Edinburgh did over the last 2 weeks, is fly up in that outside channel. So as soon as Adam Hastings takes the ball flat in his eye line, he's got the 13 that's blocking that wider pass, which is forcing him to hit that shorter runner, which on occasions, 2 or 3 times in the last 5 minutes, is really working and paying dividends for this Glasgow side. So they just need to earn the right before they throw those long looping passes over the top.
Conor O'Shea, of course, with one eye on the Six Nations, and well, maybe more than one at this point in the season. Clearing kick, and Warriors will have the throw into the line out close to the halfway line.
Yeah, and another thing to mention was George Horn. He made that break. Ryan Wilson went through the middle. He offloaded to George Horn. They have got this Benetton Treviso side struggling. They're scrambling in defence, and he tries to throw a miracle pass when there's a defender between him and his winger. Yes, if it goes to hand, everyone goes absolutely brilliant, but it's probably not even a 50-50. Just hold on to the ball, go through the faces and cause issues.
Maduwalu back on the inside of Hastings. Ash offered himself, but was taken instead by Batty. Horn, this is better from the Warriors. Runners coming at angles and at pace. Treviso forced backwards. Horn again. Ash, and then Wilson. Scrum half is done well, and he's lively, and Stewart is there to pick it up, and then it's knocked forward, but
offside.
Advantage being played for offside against Treviso, against Pettinelli in particular, and Warriors will get an opportunity, you think, to kick the corner and go from there. But Horn, well, all the things that Warriors have done well, Horn has been a live wire around the breakdown, and he's capitalised on space when it's there and offered opportunities for runners off his shoulder.
Yeah, he certainly has. I'm sure on this occasion they'll go for I think it's pretty much in front of the post. I would think with 4 minutes to go by half-time, they'll want to get within a penalty to 12-10.
It's Glasgow, you never know.
You never know with Glasgow. But no, George Horn's been, yes, okay, that last pass, I said he probably could have held on to it, but he is a live wire. He does like to snipe around the fringes. And I think that offers a balance to this Glasgow game that potentially we didn't see last week. You know, they need to be going a bit more direct. You saw how much success they had just from that snipe around the fringes and the offloading game that they've probably lacked over the last few weeks. So good so far from George Horn. And as I say, Adam Hastings coming into the game. Looks like he is going for the post.
Your boys have to get the water off.
What do you reckon?
No, it's on now. Time is on. Okay.
He's going for the corner. It is Glasgow Warriors.
It is Glasgow Warriors, you're right.
So the clock ticking towards the final 3 minutes of this first half. Treviso leaded by 5.
Wait till they're down. Wait till they're down, yeah. Thank you.
Stewart with the throw. Scrappy, and it was back on the Warrior side, and have they claimed possession? Yes, they have, but whatever plan was there is going to have to go out the window, and it'll be back to trying to set up the opportunity through the forwards. Disappointing from the Warriors line out that they couldn't deliver what they would have practiced on the training ground. And it's turned over, and in terms of the psychological moments in this game, that is a huge one for Benetton Rugby Treviso as we head towards half-time.
Yeah, and they may be Glasgow Warriors, but for me that was the wrong decision, and hence I was saying I suspected them to go for 3 points. They have been under the cosh for long periods of this game. Yes, they've showed moments where they could have scored some really outstanding tries, but for me, take the 3 points, get within 2 points. You never know, you might get another opportunity before half-time, and suddenly you're in the lead. Okay, yes, how many times do you score a try from a driving line out 5 metres out? It doesn't happen that often, especially with a good line-out defence that Benetton have. So, yes, it'll be frustrating for this Glasgow side, but that is their mentality. Their mentality, as we've seen, is to play from everywhere and try and score tries from everywhere, and they back themselves, so you've got to give them credit for that.
point. Set.
Duvenage with the feed almost into the second rows. In Treviso, Stain comes away, and Treviso will look to execute this exit properly and get themselves downfield. There'll be another play at least before we hit the break, but the Warriors are going to have to do it from outside the 22 as Tommaso Allen finds touch.
I want to come away with something with just this, I would suspect, the last play of the game. A minute to go before half-time. They feel they need something. They need something just for their confidence going into this second half.
Stewart down from Wilson. Matualu brought into the game. Tackle comes in for Morisi. Horn and Ash. Treviso defend their 22 like it was a goal line. Cummings held up short of that line. Hastings. There's Johnson, found a way through, looks to do it again. Horn on his shoulder, yes! The Warriors are over again. And that will tie it up with the conversion to come. And it all came once more from the work of Sam Johnson. Yeah,
Sam Johnson again off that left foot, the left foot step.
Your time now.
Absolutely, how ironic that they get within 5 meters and they blow their chance, then they're 25 meters out. And look at this from Sam Johnson. He sees the defence drifting. He's picked out a couple of forwards in midfield there. The gaps were slightly too big in between the defenders, and that's enough for Sam Johnson. And that man is always in support. Whoever makes a break, George Horn is there on the shoulder almost on every occasion.
And Hastings adds another 2, which in some ways surprisingly gives the Glasgow Warriors the lead as we go to the break. Mistakes aplenty, but 2 teams playing entertaining stuff, and it's pretty tight on the scoreboard. Second half to come, half-time. Benetton Rugby 12, the Glasgow Warriors 14.
And get their structure better in attack. I feel there'll be more points coming from this Glasgow side.
Both sides, of course, playing without a lot of frontline players as the modern game means injuries are aplenty. Fraser Brown, Alex Dunbar, Xander Fagerson, Stuart Hogg, Peter Horn all out for Glasgow. For Treviso, no Zani, no Barberi, no Barbini, De Marchi, all internationals. couple of hundred caps on both sides, international caps that is, missing for selection today, but still, well, it hasn't been perfect, but it's been very enjoyable to watch, and you feel that this one really could go either way as we get underway at the start of the second half of this Pro 14 round 13 match between Benetton Rugby Treviso and the Glasgow Warriors. The Warriors leading it by 2, and they will look to build on the end of that first half performance, which was a bit more clinical and a bit more the way they will want to play the game, and they go hunting in packs for that first ball from Tommaso Allen, and they've turned it over, and the advantage is theirs if it's not clean, but it is there for them, and they'll immediately look through Hastings for territorial positioning, and that kick may bounce up for Matawalu. Instead, it's Hayward who comes away with it. The referee now penalises again, and that's early advantage for the Glasgow Warriors.
And initially not great from Rory Jackson with a clearance quick, but then from Adam Hastings, a brilliant option. If it wasn't for the bounce in field for Matawalu, he could have been in, but the kick chase, which is so important, the urgency to get in position, just the man you want on the ball in Chris Vasaro. And first blood to this Glasgow side, and just where they scored from at the end of the first half, just 23, 24 metres, another opportunity to get Sam Johnson out the middle.
Ami Faiva calls out the instruction to the defending Treviso lineup, but we'll have to wait a moment. One of the players receiving attention.
Better body angles here in those fields, yeah.
I really like the way that Joy Neville has spoken to the players. She's been really clear in every decision she's made, and it makes it so much easier for the players when they come with a referee who does that for them. Makes their job a lot easier.
Grant Stewart
Okay.
ready to get on with it, is Adam Ash and the rest of the Warriors pack. Referee happy for it to continue. Stewart for Cummings. That's not good ball. Treviso are in and in behind, and where's this one off to? We'll go all the way back.
To knock on and a tackle.
Pressure through the line out on George Horn, and as he went to release the pass, just a little hand in there from Benetton Treviso. And actually this is probably a better position for Glasgow. Left-hand scrum, still space on the open side, which means that the 9 has to defend. Duvenage and the right wing have to defend on the right-hand side, which always gives this Glasgow side an extra man in attack on the right.
Same standard, stability.
So expect to see there. Duvenage there on the blind side. They get a good scrum here, Glasgow. Very difficult to defend on the right because Matawalu would have gone over to the right.
Crouch.
You can see him standing in behind Adam Hastings.
Bind. Set.
Horn with the feet. Treviso trying to wheel it around a little, and it's scrappy for the Warriors, but referee not happy. And
No, 4. No. Away, 4. 4. Please. Away. It was an accident, I saw that. Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's always an accident.
Yeah. Schumer. Ball came up.
everybody happy. Change there in the front row of the Warriors. Darcy in, and it's Halanuko Nuka who's gone.
You can see there from the scrum is exactly what Benetton wanted. They wanted to turn it round so that Glasgow were forced down the blind side, but Glasgow desperate to keep the ball in to get it reset so they could get a more solid scrum to be able to go to the right off this platform.
Use it, 9!
Glasgow eventually get on with it, and here's Matawalu, and the gap really opened up in front of him, and Duvenage out with an arm, but the referee happy to let the game continue. Here's Johnson, and then out wide is Ash. Horn in at scrum half, but he's caught in possession. That's the second time that's happened in this passage of play. And Treviso in, and the referee with a blast of the whistle. Where was the first knock forward? It was a knock forward against the Warriors. And Treviso will get the put into the scrum.
Yeah, it's those little things that are so frustrating. You can see there, George Horn just picked the ball up and just took a bit too long. Took a step, probably a couple of steps actually. Just get rid of it. You know you're going to be put under pressure from this Benetton defence. Just get rid of the ball and just keep the urgency and the game flowing from this Glasgow perspective.
Nicola Quaglio, the prop forward, receiving more attention. Not the first time in the game he's had the medics with him.
Let's go.
Herbst, the second row. Scrum half, Develt, Duvenage.
Drive straight, don't peel off.
Top forward, Ray Darcy over on that far side. Scotland under 20, former Scotland under 20, also played with Treviso, his first professional contract, so he'll know the surroundings. And the Warriors get a free kick for an early engagement. Not a full penalty, so what do you do in these circumstances? Scrum, probably.
Yeah, definitely a scrum again, left-hand scrum. Probably not enough space down the blind side to lose that defender from Benetton Treviso, but you could hear the referee again saying clearly to Treviso, don't do exactly what they then went and did, and you know, she stuck true to her word and gave a penalty, a free kick. So another good attacking platform for Glasgow that they need to take or make the most of, because they've already had one chance.
Crouch, bind, set, hold it. Time off, please. Can I have front row? Front row. Just front row. Front row.
Front row, let's go, Chief.
We had no problems with stability in the first half. The first 4 scrums, there hasn't been stability. There's been early pushes and unstable, okay? We need to get this sorted. We're not going to be here all day resetting. No, I need more stability from both sides. Get your feet in platform.
She's clear with the instruction, no doubt about it.
Here you go.
Let's see whether they listen.
Yeah.
And the front rows ever listen.
Stay straight, don't move. Crouch, bind, set.
Eventually, George Horn feeds a much more stable Glasgow scrum as the front rows go down, but now it's with Hastings in midfield and we can get on with it. Knocked forward by Nairn from the pass of Jackson, and all very unfulfilling. And we'll have another scrum.
Yeah, you just feel here, the initial move's good, but everyone's drifting off. There's no real sort of someone coming back hard on the angle to hold the defence. What that means is Robbie Nairn's looked up, seen his opposite man bearing down on him, and that was enough to drop the ball. Someone had to just straighten it there. You probably think the second last defender, normally the fullback coming into the line, just step off your right and just take the ball into contact. And
Here you go. Did you mark?
the opportunity probably not to go through the line, but just go through the phases and just hold on to the ball in the opposition red zone.
Good points here, Frank. Thank you. Mark.
Touch judge on that far side, Frank Murphy. Asked by referee Joy Neville to keep an eye on the binds.
Probably a bit more peaceful for Frank Murphy this week after last week's.
Frank Murphy, the man in the middle last week for the Leinster-Munster game, which produced red cards and yellow cards and much more besides. Allen. Treviso go wide. It's Esposito with the kick ahead. Jackson, tackled by his opposite number, Hayward, but there for Horn. And Warriors have the ball once more. After a sparkling first half in terms of end-to-end, it's been pretty static and mundane stuff for the opening 8.5 minutes of this second half. Maul called. Where's it off to? Treviso have it. Allen thought about the pass to Esposito, sets it up instead. Scrum half off on a bit of a scamper. Bud plays scrum half and offloads to, or passes I should say, to Penalini. Ioani. And now Morisi. Ioani once more. Bit of spark into this second half. The Sadio Manigo.
Oh, it's available. Stay.
Duvanage told the ball is available. Tommaso Allen right up on that Glasgow defensive line. Tackle comes in from Ryan Wilson. This time it's Negri. In fact, it's Petalini. Now Negri.
Roll.
Ball once more for Treviso. Morisi.
Release, Black. Oh, it's available.
Glasgow told to get their hands off it, and the referee forced to point out where the ball is for the Treviso scrum half. Stain carries, then it's Morisi again. Treviso building, a yard or two on every carry. Forces the Warriors back towards their own 5-metre line.
Leave it.
It's heavyweight stuff at the moment, no finesse. Big heavy punches being shown by Treviso. Bettinelli, and now they go to the back line. 4 meters. Duvanage tries to duck under, can't get there. Swinson does the defensive work. Bud has a little look up to see where the line is. Captain picks and goes. Ferrari, the prop forward on his shoulder, and also Quaglio, he's just a metre short. Treviso bashing away again. Tommaso Allen and Hayward, and wide they go, and Stain held on, and Stain will get there. First try of the second half goes the way of Benetton Rugby Treviso. They built and finally bashed their way over.
And you have to give them huge credit for that. They've gone through, I think, 21 phases. Yes, a lot of one-out runners, 9 to the forward, but they're making yards every time, just getting over the gain line, forcing the Glasgow defence, putting them under pressure, and eventually there was just too many numbers out wide. Rory Jackson missing the last tackle, just falling off slightly, and the power of the forwards just getting over the line, but really good patience from this Benetton Treviso side. You see here, just juggled with it, yeah, just managed to get through the tackle.
Well, a bit of a mismatch in the end with Stain against Jackson, and once the big man had got that momentum of 2 or 3 steps, the fullback was always hanging on, and the cavalry didn't arrive in time, and over goes Bram Stain. And Treviso have the first score of the second half and the lead, with Allen's conversion attempt to come. This one, like the last one, dragged across the face of the post, and it will remain a gap that sees Treviso lead it by 17 points to 14. Those missed kicks, those missed conversion attempts, you wonder at the end how much regret Tommaso Allen will have for missing those. Right now, though, they're sitting pretty, and it's down to the Warriors to respond. They have done when they've gone behind on a couple of occasions already, as Benvenuti goes high. Matawalu has a high tackle, and I can see why it was given.
No, 3. Away. No. Away.
Well, let's see. Benvenuti up, goes to ground, and there's nothing dirty from Matawalu, but his left hand undoubtedly wrapped around the neck of the Treviso centre, and intentional or otherwise, you just can't do it, and the referee made the decision.
Yeah, it's the correct decision. I suppose frustrating for Matawalu is the ball's really, when he's caught the ball, he's tackled him or attempts to make the tackle and wrap the ball as soon as he's come down, and that's meant he's naturally round just above the shoulders, but you can't do that, and strictly it is a penalty. So again, frustrating. You've just conceded a score. You go down the other end and you give Benetton easy yards. Just let them have the ball, they'll kick it out, you have an attacking line out 40 metres out. Instead, it's their ball beyond the halfway line. Frustrating for this Glasgow team and for Dave Rennie.
Number 9. Giving call, but
George Horn doesn't want to go.
substitution.
I have a feeling that's a HIA call rather than a permanent replacement, but we will see in due course. Nick Frisby comes into the game.
The way he's running off, I think he'll be back on pretty soon. It doesn't look too bad, but obviously they've been asked to take a look at it, which is the right thing to do.
More changes coming for Glasgow. See Alex Allen and Rob Harley both stripped and ready to come in. Not just yet though. First.
Okay. Is there a substitution taking place, please? Okay. 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 No problem. Four, please. Substitution. 4 and 14. 14. 14.
And 14. Be Robbie Nairn on the wing, and Tim Swinson are the two that are called ashore. And in the place goes Rob Harley.
Substitution complete, guys.
And
thank you.
Just waiting for confirmation whether it's Lee Jones who's gone in.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be Lee Jones, wing for wing.
Meanwhile, in midfield it's Morisi, and quick change of attack position and really good work by Treviso, and almost managed to pull it off, but Esposito just couldn't control the ball, and credit the Warriors defence for not buying it completely and getting the men across to make the tackle. But it was innovative from Treviso, and they've got back to that level of intensity that we saw in the opening 20 minutes of the first half. And when they do that and don't give the Warriors time, they're causing all sorts of problems.
They are causing all sorts of problems, and they've definitely started this second half better. What's happening as well, they're consciously trying to hold up the tackler. We see that from all the Irish provinces, so they do it so well. The Irish national team as well. But Treviso have definitely, Benetton have definitely targeted that in the second half. And actually, it was from that turnover that they went through the 21 phases and scored that try eventually. Almost the same happened again. But for them, there was this knock-on already. They'd already committed a knock-on before that.
Hold your weight.
Quaglio is gone.
Yep.
Traore in for Quaglio, Faiva gone, and that means Barnaval will come in for him, and Ferrari gone, which means Pascali will come into the front row. All change for Treviso.
Bind. Set.
And Nick Frisby will feed the Warriors scrum at the feet of Ash eventually, and Frisby to Matawalu. Hastings, little dink over the top, out wide. Lee Jones. Not wearing a number. Frisby. Hastings. Midfield, it's Darcy. Frisby once more. All mixing up those positions in the back line. This is McDowell, who gets away from the first tackle.
Off your feet, leave it.
Stewart up to the Treviso 10-metre line. Here's Frisby. Hastings looks both ways, holds onto the ball, brings it to the line. Treviso look to pick him off.
No, not on the ball.
In goes Barnaval, it's still there for Barnavale, I should say. Tommaso Allen makes the tackle. Frisbee once more. Stewart hit hard, retains possession. Hastings again. Here's Cummings. Big tackle still coming in for Treviso. Madawalu looks to bring a bit of magic. Does really well, offloads to Harley. Frisbee, better now from the Warriors, building. Can they find a way around? The tackle comes in from Ioane. Hastings. Tackle from Traore.
Leave it, 16.
Frisbee once more. Stretching this Treviso defence one way and then the other. There's a bit of slow and then speed injected at times. Good ball retention as the Warriors go down the shorter of the two sides, and away goes Lee Jones. Looks to set it up. Alex Allen plays scrum half. Hastings, Harley. Treviso really stretched defensively now. Stewart will play scrum half. Hastings, and just at the vital moment, it's knocked forward. After all that good work, they just didn't and couldn't hold on. And Treviso breathe a mighty sigh of relief.
And that was by certainly the best period of play we've seen from Glasgow. They managed to keep hold of the ball. They managed to go through a number of phases. You can see here initially, I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to go across the face inside to Rory Jackson. But Ryan Wilson wasn't quite deep enough, and instead of just hitting him and playing a simple pass, he just tried to force it and has come up with an error, and so frustrating. Just if you count the number of errors that Glasgow have had in the red zone, I think you've almost hit double figures. They've really struggled. They've played some good build-up play, and they've got to keep hold of the ball in the opposition's 22.
Benvenuti will make way, and also Pettinelli, and into the game comes Marco Lazzaroni in the back row, and Marco Zano will go into the back line.
Thank you. Thanks.
This was a good option from Adam Hastings, and Lee Jones has certainly made a difference since he's come on. 2 carries so far. That was a great read by Ioane on the wing, because Stafford McDowell had Lee Jones outside him and he was probably in for a score. But you have to say, there's Lee Jones has come on, Adam Hastings just mixing it up a bit better. When they get their continuity going, when they keep hold of the ball, this Glasgow side is very, very dangerous. They've just got to show more of it in this last 20 minutes.
They've proven that time and time again over the last number of seasons. It's just gone off the boil a little in the last couple of weeks, but they've raised the intensity in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and as we tick ever closer to the final quarter, they trail on the scoreboard. But at this moment, they have a little bit of momentum. It's up now to Benetton Rugby Treviso to find a way out of this little hole that they're in, and up the intensity again.
Both sides.
Scrum hasn't improved, despite the front rows on both sides being replaced.
Yeah, you feel at the moment the referee is on the verge
2 things. I need your
of losing her patience.
Your head and shoulders above your hips. More shoulder. Take your shoulder out. Here we go.
Okay. Only player of the front 6 that started, the front rows on both sides, is Grant Stewart, is the only one that's still there. Everybody else is new.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold it up. Hold it up.
Plenty of time for Tommaso Allen. That's a good kick. Is it going to find touch? It is. Big clearing kick.
Yeah, good work there. Really solid scrum in the end. After all the conversations they've had with the referee, they decided to listen this time and gave Tommaso Allen a good platform to get it up to his own 40-metre line. But still an opportunity here. Good opportunity for Glasgow to set themselves up again. Just go through the phases. Just keep hold of the ball in these areas.
They won the line out, and it's down for Frisbee and Matawalu. In midfield, big tackle comes in from Lazzaroni. Replacement back row forward. Interchanging all the positions in the back line are Glasgow, and on this occasion it's Johnson who's been their most dangerous player in attack, and surely that's advantage it is for the Glasgow Warriors as Hastings looks to bring it to the line and see if there's any runners. Nothing there, and no advantage accruing, and we will go back for the penalty.
Surely they'll go for points now. What do you think?
I can't believe it until I see it. But you would think at this point in the game they've got to take everything. There hasn't been enough time spent in Treviso territory to feel they're going to get back there on a regular basis. And when they're on offer and trailing by 3, surely it will be taken, but we will see. That man again, Sam Johnson.
I was about to say, that man, Sam Johnson, everything that's been good about Glasgow going forward. Yes, there's been some good performances across the team, but Sam Johnson coming back into the team, just giving them a bit of direction, giving them a bit of something to focus on, something to attack off. That's really good to see, both from a Glasgow perspective and a national perspective.
Yeah, they have pointed towards the post. And this will tie it up, should Adam Hastings be successful. Been interesting in the last couple of minutes to watch. Glasgow backline really interchange, bringing Matawalu in as the first receiver on occasion. Sometimes Johnson centre swapping positions is really keeping this Treviso defence guessing. On its way, and the touch judges like it. We're all square. That's the Stadio Inigo. It's 17 points apiece with about 17 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, you just mentioned there, Glasgow mixing up. That's an area I feel they haven't exploited in the last couple of weeks, especially against Edinburgh, being far too predictable. And that is not the Glasgow we know. Everyone knows how much flair they've got, how much threat they've got all over the pitch, but we haven't seen enough of it. And today it's been there in glimpses. They're getting back to it. Hopefully they can build towards something towards the end of the game and into Europe for the next 2 weeks.
Tommaso Allen gets us underway again, and it'll fall into the hands of Nico Matawalu, and he is so dangerous if he's given an opportunity, and he almost gets away, but he does bring play up to the Warriors 22-metre line. Here's Hastings, little dink over the top, he's looking for again, and out there is Lee Jones, but he's watched by Ioane, and then the little kick from Tommaso Allen. Ioane's after this. Hastings is going to have to be on his mettle. Quick chase from Treviso, but Hastings did really well to offload to Sam Johnson. The crowd not happy. I have to say, I didn't see it, but the referee shrill blast of the whistle, and let's see.
Just given a forward pass, I think, from Adam Hastings as he went out to Sam Johnson there as he ran the ball.
Time off, injury over here and injury here.
As you say, the crowd on the far side obviously saw something which they didn't like. I think it was a late tackle. Let's have a look here. Just gets tackled, gets scragged there, and that pass there was forward. You could see there Sam Johnson just reaching out in front of him.
I think that's what the crowd were calling for. Great work by Ioane, who's been impressive out on that wing for Treviso, and then the chase. Hastings did really well initially, backed himself to get away, but then the pass is forced, and on a couple of occasions today, Adam Hastings has got himself and his team in trouble deep in their own territory. And this is another opportunity from a mistake like that for Treviso to get some points on the board as the clock ticks closer to the end of the game.
And also a perfect opportunity. They made the initial break with Matawalu up to the 40-metre line. You don't just have to kick when you're under the cosh. Kicking in an attacking position when you've made initial break can put the defence under all sorts of pressure. This Benetton Treviso side are not going to score from 80 metres. So just get the ball down there and put pressure on them.
Point well made, but they may well score from about 15. And an early engagement, and the referee again has been consistent through this.
Number 3.
You feel that if too many infringements like this occur, she's just going to go with a straight arm soon, and then obviously it will be an easy 3 points. At this stage in the game, the discipline needs to be paramount to this Glasgow side.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Keep it up, keep it up. Use it, 9!
Stain has it at his feet. Duvenage, scrum half. Morisi sets it up, scrum half once more. Taken by Negri. Treviso have been here before and found a way to get through this Glasgow defence. Substitute Bonavale, the hooker.
Advantage 10 black offside.
10 black offside is Hastings. Advantage being played to Treviso. Negri again.
Still advantage.
Ball offloaded. Bud just held on to. Advantage still there. Traore protects. Tommaso Allen. And now they go wide, and with the line at his mercy, Esposito spills it.
Number 10 offside first.
And we'll go back for the penalty
Number 10.
against Adam Hastings.
And I have to say, for me, I feel that is the best option, best thing that could have happened to Glasgow. You feel in this position so far this game, Benetton Treviso have been so good at finishing off a try, you know, just holding on to ball, just constantly battering away and eventually getting over. And at this stage of the game, 7 points, 7 points for Glasgow. It would have been a long way to come back from. 3 points and they're still in the game. So I'm sure Benetton will take the kick at goal and stretch it to 2017. But this game is definitely not over, even with that 3 points.
And the penalty is the option chosen by Dean Budd, the captain of Benetton Rugby Treviso. And Tommaso Allen will be asked, well, it's as straightforward as it gets at this level, or at any level indeed.
Yeah, it's certainly a formality, and I'll take it to 2017. That's how Glasgow respond. We've seen it so many times from them before. The one thing I would say, even with how they've played today, they can score from anywhere and they can score at any time, and they can score a lot of points very quickly. So I wouldn't think they'd be too worried about being 3 points behind.
Which they now are, as Tommaso Allen knocks over the penalty. 67 minutes on the clock. Benetton Rugby 20, Glasgow Warriors 17.
What a huge 13 minutes of both sides. Can you imagine at the beginning of the season to have said that Treviso, if they win today, would be sitting before the games tonight in second place?
Yeah, and 4 wins on the trot, should they manage it, but still plenty to do in 13 minutes in order to achieve that. And Esposito, the man who spilled the ball with the line at his mercy, gathers the ball from the restart. Matuwalu, slow to get on his feet, bottom left-hand corner of your screen there. Limps back to his position defensively. Duvenage sends it high. Matuwalu won't go after this one. Instead, it's taken by Jackson, and now it's Cummings, Horn, Hastings, Johnson, and then McDowell bounces off 2 or 3. Traore eventually puts him to ground. Horn once more. Treviso back in defensive duty. Darcy. Bonavale, the man to make the tackle. Wilson puts the head down. Traore makes the tackle. Horn flies it out. McDowell and Johnson in midfield, but up again Treviso come ever willing to make the tackles. They're going to have to find a bit of finesse. Lee Jones goes about trying to do it. Tackle from Esposito. The ball is ripped.
Tackle was made, his knees were down, you need to release
Tackle was made, says the referee.
Release.
So a penalty to Glasgow now.
His knees were down.
Surely a kick at goal to try and tie it up again. Knees were down. and then holding on to the man on the ground.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that there was someone still holding on to the man, and the guy trying to rip the ball. She'd said tackle complete, you just got to let go, and he still went to rip it. And what an opportunity here for Glasgow. Interesting to get inside their psyche though. Why they take it once. I mean, that was pretty much exactly the same kick to draw level. There's still 10 minutes to go.
Stewart taken by Harley, and then they go to them all. And the hooker is at the back, and the body positions are good from the Warriors. It goes down. Has it gone down legally? Referee keeps the arm down. We'll play on. Here's Horn. Matawalu recovered from that knock, came around, but Horn decides to hold on to the ball. Pick and go from Scott Cummings.
Thank you.
Ball popped up. Glasgow happy to do the grunt work in close. Harley looks like he will be next to carry. Now it's Cummings. Smith on his shoulder. Horn. Ash. Building again from Glasgow. But Horn held on and he got caught in possession. Scooped up and taken by Alex Allen, and now the power in behind him. Can he ground the ball? No, says the referee. Esposito in underneath the substitute prop. Referee absolutely sure, and back will go for the 5-metre scrum.
And the referee was absolutely correct. He was definitely held up, but much better from Glasgow. Really direct, getting over the gain line. Scott Cummings probably 3 or 4 times in that move, just giving them the extra oomph. And they've got a 5-metre scrum, and you feel something is going to happen. Just up the ante a bit in the last few minutes. All the threats that Glasgow have coming into the game. Lee Jones said earlier, every time he touches the ball, he just makes little yards. He's really come on and made a difference.
Just looking at that again, Alex Allen, I think, has a
9 green, please.
It held around the neck, and I can see why. Making a complaint. Esposito seemed to have him in a neck roll. Now it was right under a body of players, and the referee found it hard to see.
Okay, just have a word. I haven't seen anything, so just be careful, please. Okay.
That's Tito Tavalli. Italian scrum half, 31 years of age now, 29 times cap for Italy. He'll come in. That scrum half. Alex Allen's okay.
No, also 10. No, I'm happy. I was there. 10 green.
And into the game also comes Ian McKinley.
Thank you.
You can see wearing the scrum half, or scrum cap, I should say, and the goggles. Top of your screen, there he is. Born in Dublin, of course, played for Leinster, declared for Italy on the residency rule. A couple of caps under his belt. Straight into defensive duty as Tommaso Allen makes way.
Down.
I can see one thing happening here. If they get a solid scrum, that man Sam Johnson is getting his hands on the ball again. He's been a threat in this Glasgow side. It's really given them that direction, that platform, and obviously he scored a try as well. I'm sure they'll be looking off the left-hand scrum if Adam Ash doesn't pick it up to hit that man Sam Johnson.
Will we get underway this time? Yes, we will. Horn with the feed. Advantage being played. Scrum wheel around.
3.
They're really just hanging on right now, aren't they, Treviso?
3.
Yeah, this is a good sign for Glasgow. 5-metre scrum.
And 17.
You get a few of these, and suddenly the referee loses patience. they'll be wanting to keep it in as long as possible, get that second shove on.
That's Traore, who was
Scrum called.
penalised for walking around, wheeling the scrum, and guess what? Glasgow calling for a scrum.
I think, to be honest, the last one, 9 minutes to go, when they weren't quite close enough, was probably well, it'll prove right or wrong in a minute. But that was probably a decision that should have been kicked a goal. This one, definitely the right decision. They've got this Treviso Benetton side under pressure. Something you feel is going to give here.
George Horn, once more on the 5-metre line, feeds the Warriors scrum. Tibaldi making a nuisance of himself. Horn trying to get the referee to get him away, and he almost gets away. The tackles are made. Ash puts the head down. Negri makes the tackle. And Treviso do a good job of stemming the first flow from the Glasgow Warriors. Smith put to ground before he makes a yard. Taken on by Darcy.
Release green!
There for scrum half, Horn again. Wilson drives the legs. Now Cummings, big second row, double tackled. One of those was Morisi. Still there. Hastings, big floated pass out wide, and Madawalu will dot it down. But it's not to be. Forward. Can you believe it?
To be fair to Adam Hastings, it's the right option, but it was definitely forward. From you see here, look where he passes it, just about, and it's landed in front of the 5-metre line. It's clearly 2 metres forward.
But what about that for a, well, it was a 3-man tackle on Scott Cummings.
And ironically, that's what created the space out wide. They sucked in. Scott Cummings came around the corner, flying into contact. 3 men took him out, and that created the space on the outside. Obviously, the Benetton defence had to rush up to try and stop the flow of the Glasgow attack. It created an opportunity for Adam Hastings, and you would have expected him, with Matawalu and acres of space, to pass it flat at least.
Oh, he had half the field to himself. It was all about the pass, and the accuracy wasn't there. And there's going to be another change as Kevin Bryce will come into the game, and Grant Stewart, the last remaining front rower from the start of the game, makes way.
You have to say, if Glasgow don't come away with victory here, or at least a draw, they really will be kicking themselves. They have, in the last 10-15 minutes, had every opportunity to get back in the game, to go into the lead. 5-metre line out, scrum 5 metres out. I just don't think the execution's quite been there.
Brandon Thompson has been brought into the game at the expense of Adam Hastings. As Tibaldi
crouch, bind.
The referee. Do you know what? It's been a game that's been full of mistakes. It's been frustrating at times, particularly at scrum time, but it has been very engaging, and it's right on a knife edge as we head towards the last 4 minutes. Marco Zanon, wearing number 23, has seen very little of the ball. It's all been defensive duty. Rosa makes ready to come into the game. Tibaldi, well, Benetton will do everything they can to see out every second and get what would be a remarkable 4th win on the trot in the Guinness Pro 14. But 4 minutes is a long, long time when you're camped on your own line and the opposition is as good as the Glasgow Warriors. And we're up to the 22, and the Warriors will be asked to work from there. You'll remember in the first half, the Warriors had lots of opportunities 5 metres out. They ended up out on the 22, and they found a way of scoring. Is it to be a repeat at the end of this second half?
Well, you feel it's going to need to be 3.5 minutes.
Substitution for.
I feel that Benetton are going to be defending for this last 3.5 minutes, and it's Glasgow going to throw everything at them. Will it be enough?
Herbst makes way, and in for the final couple of minutes comes Federico Ruza.
Ball. Backwards.
Ball knocked backwards, says the referee. And off on a run goes Bryce, and in go the bodies of Treviso. They are throwing everything they have defensively at the Glasgow Warriors.
Ball's available, stay.
It's a big, big test of this Warriors psyche. 2 defeats on the bounce, up against it, away from home. Horn. Wilson. Horn once more. Ash. Big men being asked to rumble forward. Back inside from Jackson to McDowell. Up again to make the tackle is Lazzaroni. Horn. Through the hands of Thompson. McKinley up.
Green away.
Advantage being played. Treviso just couldn't get away, and they're furious, but the penalty goes to the Warriors, and surely at this point they must consider kicking the goal.
They have to go for 3 points. What I don't like is they're looking towards the touchline to suggest what to do. The decision needs to come from the field. They have to take 3 points. They can't go away with just a losing bonus point.
Federico Rosa is the man who's penalised for not getting away at the back of that breakdown, and he'll say he did everything in his power. She'll say it wasn't enough, and that's where the penalty comes.
Yeah, and you can see there, sometimes it's very difficult to roll away. Sometimes you're being held in by one of the opposition players. But once you get yourself in an uncompromised position, that's always going to be a chance of happening. And what a kick this is. If you can get this, there's still an opportunity as well for either side. Probably going to be a minute left still to get something out of it, either side.
This to tie it up. And it's gone left and wide. Can you believe it? It's a game that's had just about everything. And a missed opportunity to draw it level. It's not done yet, but the hill got very, very steep as Brandon Thompson looks away in disgust.
And Will Glasgow Rue taking Adam Hastings off. Yes, it was his forward pass on the 5 metre line. It avoided or meant they didn't score that try with Matawalu. But as a goal kicker, he's pretty reliable. I'm sure he would have slotted that.
And McKinley's only going to go one way here, surely. Long. As long as he can. And the line chase will have to be quick. Well, that sums it up in the end for the Warriors, who knock it forward through Ash.
Frank, in line. Black.
And Treviso believe it's their day.
Time off, please. Time off.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Touch judges getting involved. They were claiming that the person in front picked it up. It should be a penalty. You see here.
Didn't quite clear it up for us, the replay, but the decision is still favourable, significantly favourable for Benetton Rugby. We'll see if this clears it up for us.
See there, I think it's George Horn in front, decides not to pick it up, and then you see Ryan Wilson come in and pick it up from an offside position.
And the referee has just seen that.
He's in front.
And has had the decision overturned. She's overturned it, clear in her mind on the replay. The penalty was the right decision, and that is the end of that. Surely now the Warriors will have to accept defeat, and in terms of the points given away that Treviso scored, the mistakes that were made, the not taking the kicks at goal when they were on offer, in many ways Glasgow only had themselves to blame.
Totally agree. I think Glasgow should have won this game. They should have put it to bed with the opportunities they've had, whether it's kicks at goals, whether it's 5 metre lineouts. You have to give credit to this Treviso side. They have been very difficult to beat this season, and you can see exactly why. They play a specific game. They're very direct. and when they get an opportunity in the opposition 22, they take it. And you can see here exactly what McKinley's going to do. He just needs to get this dead. If he misses it, just get it dead. So just try and hit it as hard as you can, irrespective whether you get it or not. Doesn't make any difference to the result. Just make sure it goes dead. But it's worth mentioning just on this Benetton side, four wins on the trot, moving up to second place. Yes, Leinster are flying high at the top, but what an occasion for them to cement that position. It's incredible to think.
So Ian McKinley to finish this one off, to give Treviso their 4th win on the trot in the Pro 14. It's on its way. It doesn't make it, and the ball is still alive. Surely not. Surely there is not one more twist in this tale. All the way from underneath their own posts is how Glasgow are going to have to do it. But if there's a side that is capable of doing it, it's the Glasgow Warriors. Horn. Horn once more. It's hard to believe we're still playing. Penalty to the Glasgow Warriors.
17.
And they can kick and continue, but they don't. And Horn wants to play a high-tempo game and find a hole in the Treviso defence that isn't there. Madawalu. Ball doesn't go to hand, but it's picked up by Matt Smith. Outside the 22 from their own line.
Tackle! Release!
Raza told to release. He does. Madawalu will go in and play scrum half. Remarkable.
Stay 16!
Esposito in to make the tackle on the Glasgow Warriors go.
No 5. Thank you.
Horn, Madawalu. They're gonna have to try something a little bit special. Madawalu once more. And then the replacement, Thompson. Horn steps in. Every line on the pitch from their own to the Treviso try line is a marker for this Glasgow Warriors side, and Horn somehow, well, no, he doesn't. He knocks it forward, and it's knocked out by Baravella, and Treviso finally have their moment. A 4th win on the trot. It's the first time in 28 games that Glasgow Warriors have lost to Italian opposition. And in the end, you have to say, Benetton Rugby Treviso probably deserved it. The full-time score, Treviso 20, the Glasgow Warriors 17.